Hello dear users, let's continue with our tutorial. Welcome back. In that tutorial we will create a strategy for the EURUSD market, 15 minutes. And if you remember from the previous episode, we imported data from our broker. We will use that data now. I open a new strategy. As I said before, I can open a new strategy from here, but if I use this button, it opens a default one. And but I already saved a template. I use that template. What I have here, first I will set the initial settings of the strategy, and later I use the generator to generate. But when I'm in the generator, I have here several settings panels, but I can change only the generator behavior, and I cannot change anything in the strategy directly from the generator. So first I have to go in the editor page and here to set the initial properties. What we have here, unit for trading amount, I use watts, entry amount for a new position 0.1, okay, and maximum position amount. Here if the strategy uses adding, the amount of the strategy, the open watts, will increase, and here I set the maximum open watts. Let's be 0.4. Next, same direction signal, this is the adding behavior. I leave it off and let the generator decide what to do. But I have here 0.1 adding watts. This is for the opposite signal. Here I set the reducing behavior. I'll keep it nothing, and amount for reducing will be 0.1. Let the generator decides. Here I can set stop loss, take profit, and break even, but I will not set now. Let's confirm. So before generating, the most important things are the trading amount, the market, profile, and data source. They're what I want because I use the template. And here I have to set the collection. When I'm working with the program, I can add strategies to a collection here manually, and when the generator is working, it also adds strategies to a collection. And I will name that collection. Active is the name of the broker, EURUSD 15 minutes, M15. Okay, this is the name of the collection. That's all here. Let's go to generator, and let's see the generator properties. This is the common option of the generator. I can open this panel from here or from this strategy properties panel. When I click this tile, it opens the common options. It's a little bit different than in the editor. When I click here, it opens strategy properties, but when I'm in the generator, it opens the common options, because in the generator I cannot change the properties directly. And what I have, same direction signal. Here I set what I want the generator to change during the generation process, and I want it to change the same direction signals behavior. This is the adding behavior. If I click this option, when the option is on, the generator will decide when to use adding or winner option, or loser, or nothing. Let's do the same for the opposite signal. This is the reduction behavior. Here I can set stop loss, take profit, and break even behavior of the generator. And I have here 4 options. Keep original means that the generator will not change the stop loss. Always use means that the generator will always try to find the best stop loss for the strategy. I'll keep this may use option. That means the generator will decide whether to use a stop loss or not. And I can set here a range for the stop loss. This options case in points, like all options in the Forex Strategy Builder. How much to set? Let's set for stop loss. Let's be 20 pips. So I set here 200 points because my broker is 5 digits. And for the maximum, these are to 200 pips. Let's be like that. I'll do the same for the take profit. May use, and I have set the same range. Okay, break even. I don't want break even. So maximum count of slots. Here I set how many indicators to generate the generator. We have two slots that are constant. They're persisting all the time. Opening point of the position and closing point of the position. But the generator can add additional indicator slots for filtering the entries and for triggering the exit. And how much to set here? The default is 2, but I'll set. Normally I use between 2 and 4. I don't need too much. Let's set 3. And for closing slots are available when the closing indicator is bar closing. Let's set 2. Okay, let's make it 4 to 2. I'll close that. And before to start, let's check the settings. Normally these settings I have to set only once. What I have: search best, net balance, system quality number, share pay. These are different options. I'll keep it simple. Let's be net balance. Working time in minutes. I'll increase that option. I'll make it, okay, let's make it 60 minutes. Strategy fulfills acceptance criteria. I will leave these options the default, in the default values to start the generator. And during the working, I'll explain you the next settings. So I have the collection, and there is okay. Let's run the generator. Now the generator tries to find strategies. What it does is to generate random indicators and tries to fulfill our criteria and our initial settings. Let's talk about the acceptance criteria. When I go to settings, I see I have option strategy fulfills acceptance criteria, and I can change the acceptance criteria in the control panel. Let's go there. The generator is working here in a separate tab. I see it already generated one strategy. These are acceptance criteria. This generator is already started, so if I change the criteria, they will not reflect on that strategy, but it will reflect on the next one. Let's see what we have here. Maximum, these are the default settings. If you make any changes, you can use this reset button to reset the acceptance criteria to the default. And what we have, maximum ambiguous bars. Ambiguous bars are bars in that the generator cannot, the backtester is not sure how exactly to route the price. If you have 2 orders in a bar, the program is not sure what order to execute first, the lower or the higher, if it starts from the between them. And if there are such bars, the program marks them as ambiguous. So we have here maximum 10 ambiguous bars. I will show you later how to deal with the ambiguous bars. We have here minimum profit per day in currency. Our currency is euro, and that means that the generator will search a strategy that makes minimum one euro per day. And what we have, minimum count of trades. So the generator must find a strategy that trades minimum 100 times. That option is good because if we have too small number of trades, we cannot decide if the strategy is good or not. For example, it can make only 2 or 3 trades, and we cannot decide what's the general stats. So what we have here, it's collected some strategies, 7. Let's see how the collections works. When the generator works, it generates strategies and sends these strategies to collections. We can see the collections in the repository tab. When I click the repository, it opens in a separate tab page. And we have here 3 subpages. The first one is the collection. We see the name of the collection. When the generator works, it pushes strategies to that collection. So we can see here the strategies. Okay, let's generate. A collection can contain maximum to 100 strategies, and we can arrange these strategies using different criteria. For example, this is the net balance, system quality number, share pair ratio, and also we can filter the strategies. This is the minimum share pair ratio. You can use different filters. So we have to keep the generator running until we find some more strategies. What we can do is to start another generator. How to do that? I'll use the template to open a new strategy. Let's check if everything is okay. Okay. No, I have here different collection. I use the same collection for this new strategy. What was the name? Active EURUSD. Active EURUSD M15. So both the generators to push the strategies in one and the same collection, active EURUSD M15. Okay. And I'll start the generator. This is another copy of the generator. It must use the same settings. I'll tell you something about the settings. Okay, let's start this also. Now we have two running generators, and the bot will push strategies in the same collection. That one. I'll open another one. Okay, so when I'm in the generator and I'm changing some settings, for example that one, I have here two options to close this settings panel. I can close from here or from this OK button, and there is a small difference between both buttons. If I use that button, the changes are saved only in the local strategy. So if I change that one, if I remove the strategy fulfills acceptance criteria option and close from OK, next strategy I open will have also that options off. Okay, but if I change some options and close only from here, these changes are local, and the next strategy will not be affected. You see? Here these are on and here are off. This is a little trick. Let's see what happens with our generator. It already generated 21 strategies. I'll wait more. So okay, what we can do now? Both the generators are generating strategies, and I can see the strategies here. For example, let's find some interesting. No, I don't like this. I don't like this one. I'll delete. It's not necessary to keep it. Where is it? Okay, that one. Delete. By pressing the delete button, I'm removing a strategy from a collection. That also is not good. Okay. I don't see here a good strategy. Let's see that one. I can see the strategy slots here, the indicators, and I can see the statistics of the strategy. When I click on a strategy, the program recalculates this strategy and shows the statistics here at the right side. And from here, I can open from this open button, or by double clicking on the strategy, I can open the strategy on a new slot to check it. So this strategy is that one. What we have here, this is very simple strategy. It opens at previous bar opening and closes at take profit. I have also stop loss. Here, take profit. Why is that? Here I have 223 pips. And here is, let's make it 3000. Okay. Why I have here 3000? I set in the generator, in the options, to generate take profit between 200 and 2000. But I have here take profit 3000. That's because this different way to set take profit. I can set take profit here in the strategy properties, but I can set it also in the strategy as an indicator. And because probably the generator cannot set here more than 2000, it decided to set it. It finds a randomly this take profit indicator and set here 3000. Let's see what we have here. We have 23 pips. Let's try with stop loss 30 pips. What will change? Ah, it's not good. 23. If I make a very small change in the stop loss, and the strategy behavior changes. Okay, it looks like it works well with a small stop loss. Let's keep it 25 pips. Now the program becomes a little bit slower because these two generators are running. Collected 9, collected 28. Let's see in the repository what we have. Do we have a better strategy? No, we don't. Okay, we continue working with that one. I don't like this strategy too much. Why it opens at previous bar opening? What will happen if you open in that bar opening? No, it's not working. Actually, I don't like this strategy and I'll close it. Let's see what we have. Calculated 1000 strategies, collected 13, and here collected 31. I will pause the video recording and I will keep the generator running, and I resume the MetaTrader when we have more generated strategies. Actually, before starting the recording, I generated and checked a good strategy. Let's see, can we repeat it? What I already saved is, why it's not here? Is it that one? Can I open the strategy like that? Okay. I prepared two strategies. That one, strategy 1 and strategy 2. Okay, let's see what I already have. Let's see that strategy. This strategy opens 0.1 watt and adds to open position 0.1, and the program allows maximum 0.4 watts. Actually, it opens 1 watt and adds 3 times. We have a stop loss 100 pips. It here is 1000 points. The strategy opens a position at a bar opening and closes at the day closing. When I use the generator, it set the day closing, but the day closing exit has a problem at Friday, because the normal Forex day closes at 24:00, but for the Friday is different. It depends from the time zone. Let's see my broker when it closes the position at Friday. Actually, today is Saturday and the market was closed. This is the last bar, and this 15-minute chart. The bar opened at 22:45. That means the broker closes at 23:00. And if I use here day closing, the program, the strategy will not close the position at Friday because it will wait till 24:00, but my market closes at 23. So I'm using day closing indicator, and I will set here I can set here different times for closing the position. Now what I have by default for every day, I have closing at 23 and 59 minutes. But for Friday, I can set a different hour. I set here 22 and 59. So the strategy will close the position at 22:59, 1 minute before the closing of the market. I make it 55 to have 5 minutes. Okay, that's good. What we have more? It opens at bar opening. What we have every day? This bar opening is the opening point of the position, and we have only one opening point for long and for short position. That's why we don't have ambiguous bars. This is very good. We have two filters. What we have here? Moving average crossover. Fast moving average is slower than slow moving average. What that means? Actually, this is not a trigger. This is a filter, because if it was the condition was crosses, fast moving average crosses slow moving average, this would be an event that would trigger the entry, but actually now it only allows the entry. Let's see that on the chart where we have entries. I want to see moving average in the screen. Okay. Now we see here, this obviously the yellow one is the faster moving average. When the faster moving average is below the slow, it allows long entry. And here we have the same. The faster moving average is below the longer, the slower. And what we have 4 entries here. 1, 2, 3, 4 entries, and we will close the position at the end of the day. What is that? 23. Do you see here? 23.45. This is the last bar. But what time it opens? It opens at 300Y because of the another. Let's see the other indicator. Fisher transform. What we have? Fisher transform is lower than 0 line. So in order to open a position, we have 2 conditions. Moving average, the faster moving average is below the slower to open long, and the Fisher transform is lower than 0. Both indicators must give permission for opening. And here we have the faster moving average above the slow, and Fisher transform is higher than 0. That's why we have a short position. But what I see here, we add 3 times. We add 3 times in 3 consecutive bars. What if we, instead of adding 3 times, I open at once 0.4 watts? Why I need to add 3 times? Let's see if it changes something. Okay, we see here I have also 3 consecutive addings. So instead of adding, I'll change that to 0.4, and I'll remove that. And I see even the strategy performance now is better. So I'll not use the adding, I'll keep like that. Okay. I'll save the strategy to not lose it. I'll save where to save. This is my desktop. Because I dragged from my desktop. Okay, I'll save it there. Let's see what we have more here. What we have? Maximum stagnation, 91 days. Stagnation is a period where the strategy doesn't make a new profit. For example, it reaches here the highest balance, but after that it starts losing, and here it makes profit until it reaches this peak here, and this period from here to here is a stagnation. Also we have stagnation from here to here, and from here to here, and the maximum period is 3 months. It's not too bad, because for that tutorial I make 8 strategies, and I use these 8 strategies for to trade in a portfolio. Let's see what the generators has. This correct 29, this correct 43. Let's see the repository. Do I have something good? Maybe that one. Okay. Let's continue with that strategy. So let's what we can do more. We don't see ambiguous bars. That's very good. But anyway, I can go to comparator to be sure 100%, because we have different interpolation methods, backtesting methods, and the default one is the pessimistic but when I change the methods, the program uses different routes inside a strategy, and there is slight possibilities that another method to find ambiguous bars. Actually, this is not our case. No problem. And I have here Monte Carlo tool. Monte Carlo makes some noise in the data and in the environment. It tries to make some changes that to prevent the normal work of the strategy and the trading. It simulates trading flows, and I have here several options. The first one is randomized history data, the first group, and randomized spread. Let's make simulations. I can set here how many simulations to make. 20 tests with different simulations. Let's see what will happen. I'll run that. Let's see. That doesn't look very well. It seems that if the market is slightly changed, the strategy is going to lose. That's not good. That means that the strategy is over optimized. Let's see the result. Let's see what we have in the confidence table. Nothing. What is so bad in that strategy? Let's see if the spread or the randomized history data is the problem. Okay, the randomization of the history data is not a problem, but the strategy, even what I see is that the randomization of the data doesn't have any effect on the strategy performance. But when I'm randomizing the spread, the strategy starts losing. Let's see what options I have. Spread a range in points between 10 and 30. How much? How is my spread in the settings? This is active trades profile, and I go to control panel. No, I have to go to symbol EURUSD. Is my spread is 8 points. Let's set a higher spread, 10 points, and see what will happen here. There is no big effect. And let's say 20. Okay. When the spread is 20 pips, the strategy start losing. What I can do? Let's return that to 10 pips. I keep it 10 pips or 8. What was the original? Okay. What I can do is to prevent trading when the spread is higher than let's say 10 pips. How I can do that? We have an indicator, a custom indicator called Spread Level Pro, I think. I'm not sure I have this indicator set. Let's see what custom indicators I have. My computer became slow because of the running generator. I go to indicators. Yes, I have this Spread Level Pro. We can download this indicator from the repository indicators. Now the program will reload the index. Okay, and we can find here. Let's sort by title. Okay. Where is the spread level? Spread level pro. Okay. We see here some indicators has this MQL icon and some indicators don't have. When the indicator has this MQL icon, that means this indicator has a MQL code and can be used for exporting expert advisors. And this spread level pro has a MQL code, so I can use this indicator in my strategy. And I will add this as an additional filter. Spread level pro. This indicator is working only in this indicator works properly only on trader mode. That means in the backtester mode we have a fixed spread, and that spread is 8 pips. But in trading mode, the spread depends from the broker, from the dynamic of the trade, from the market. And I don't want to trade when the spread is higher than some level. Spread is lower than the selected level. This is a symmetrical condition. This means that when the spread is lower than 20 points, the indicator will allows opening long and short position. How much to set? Let's set 12 points. And that filter doesn't affect my strategy in the backtesting mode, but this will prevent entries when the spread is higher than 12. I will save that. So you see how useful was this Monte Carlo tool. Let's remove that indicator for now and continue with Monte Carlo to check. Let's set a random spread between 8 and 12. That means that the spread will be for every trade, for every deal will be randomized. Let's test what we have here. Everything is good. So I said I will use a maximum 12 points for the spread, and my strategy should work well. Okay. What are the other options? Randomize history data. Number of changes bars, 20% of the bars, and the range, average true range changes 20%. Okay. Let's check with randomizing history data and randomizing the spread. And also the strategy is working well. That's good. The other option is randomly skip position entries. This group of settings, they simulate falls in the execution, trading falls. So randomly skip position entries will skip an opening. Randomly skip position exits will skip an exit. Randomly close position. That means if something happens, a broker can close the position randomly, not before the our closing order. And randomize slippage. Let's see what will happen here. I'll remove that one, that options. What I have for the slippage? Slippage from 0 to 5 points. Okay. Let's see. It's not looking very good. What if our strategy misses an exit point it will close the position at the next day. Let's remove the slippage and the randomly close position, randomly skip position exits. Okay, let's keep the first option only. Randomly skip position entries is okay. But, okay. What happens if it skips position exits? Is it the problem? No, this is not a big problem. So what we have, if our broker or misses on signal to execute the signal, this fall may arise in different situations. For example, if we have problems with our internet connection or with our computer, it may miss some entry or exit. Let's keep this simulation. Randomize history data, randomize spread, skip position entries and skip position exits, and see what will happen here. Everything's okay. I think the problem is from the randomly closed positions, because we're opening 0.4 watts and we're using a 15 minutes chart. Let's go to the chart. Let's see here in the journal what we have. We're opening we're trading during the day only. Where's our indicator chart? For example, we're opening a position here. But if I use this randomly close position, it may close the position before the end of the day, and the position don't have time to develop profit. This Monte Carlo tool is very useful to analyze our strategy behavior. This the third group of options is for randomizing strategies indicator parameters. Let's see what we have here. We're not going to change our strategy, but anyway, this is a test for over optimization also. We see here that the strategy fails. What options we have? Indicator parameters change, probability 20%, indicator parameter maximum change. So at every test, it chooses, there is a chance of 20% to change a parameter, and if the Monte Carlo tool decides to change a parameter, it will set maximum to 20% of change. Let's go to the editor. I'll remove that spread level pro, let's keep it. And auto change, let's try changing moving average crossover. What will happen if I change something? Okay, it's okay. Fast moving average, slower than slow moving average. Why I have so here shift. If I remove that shift, what will happen? Nothing. Let's cancel that. Median. Let's make it close. No. It looks like this indicator is over optimized. Let's change that parameter. Oh, this is okay. This is okay. Let's see here the Fisher transform. Period of 71. Base price open. Why open? Let's make it close. It's okay, nothing changed. And period is 71. Why 71? Let's make it 50. No, it's not working. Let's increase it. 60. 60 is okay. 60 is okay. 65 is okay. 70. 71 is okay. 75 also. 76. What happened? Mm-hmm. 78. 80. No, this is also okay. I will return to 70 to be a round number. And I will try to make this Bunky average crossover also round numbers. Let's make it 60. It's almost same. 65, 26. Okay, I leave it. So I think this strategy is ready for trading. I will save it. This is EURUSD M15 strategy number 2. I will save it under other name. And what name to use? Ready. Okay. On Monday I will start this strategy on my account, but we remove the adding, and actually the strategy opens one position only until the end of the day, and most probably it will open somewhere at the beginning of the day. That means the initial amount is not important. So actually I can change that one, and it will not change the strategy behavior. It will change the final balance because I'm reducing the amount. But if I change that, it will not change anything in the strategy, because it doesn't change the logic, it is only the amount. So I will test that strategy with 0.1 watt, because I want to run 8 strategies. I make also this 0.1. Actually this is not important because I don't have adding. I have stop loss. I want to run 8 strategies on my account to make a portfolio of strategies, and that one will be the first. And since this will be the first one, I'll change the name again. It will be strategy EURUSD first. And I will find a second strategy. I will run 2 strategies for every major symbol, and I will do that in 2 days, because today is Saturday. The first strategy is ready. I'll make another one from this generated. I will enter this episode now. I have one strategy ready, and in the next episode I'll check these generated strategies, and we'll try to find another one strategy for EURUSD market. And later we continue with finding strategy from the other major symbols. So thank you for watching this episode, and we'll continue the next one. If you like this series, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.